Hello, it's Deb from PDQ Cards here. In my last video, we made a very simple card using Gracie's Garden and two of the Stampin' Up right markers, and I showed you how a really simple way of making a basic card that's actually quite well, it's quite lovely, isn't it? But I thought today I'd show you sort of following on from this one, a little technique to take it to the next level that doesn't again require very many items. So I'm going to use Gracie's Garden again just because actually I've got it out on my desk and I can't put it away because I keep using it because it's so lovely. But all I've changed today is I've swapped the basic black right marker for an old olive right marker, which is a sort of greeny gardeny colour. I've added in the lovely Whisper White ribbon, which is just really soft and very flexible. I mean, it's very silky, and we're going to just add a little bit of ribbon just as a little bit of embellishment. So we'll come back to that in a little while. And I've already pre-folded my card, so my card is ready to go. This time I am going to do it that way, so it just opens a little bit different. All it's done, same again, it's still half an A4, but instead of chopping it halfways, I've chopped it lengthways, and then fold it again so that you've got 14.9 on the side and 10.5 across here. So that's our card, and then we're just going to have another bit of card on the top, which is slightly smaller. So this is I think 9.9 by 13.9, ready to go. So we're actually going to stamp on this little bit of card. So now I've got my folded bit ready. I'm going to pop that to one side, and we're going to stamp onto this bit, which is great because it means if it all goes wrong, and it invariably does at some point, you've only lost one tiny little bit of card rather than the whole card, which I have to admit does happen. Stamping is not perfect. If it was perfect, it'd be a machine. So I'm going to change it up slightly. We're going to use a different sentiment today out of Gracie's Garden, and we're going to use this: of all the blossoms in life's garden, friendship is the most fragrant, which is about like my children when they haven't been in the bath. So as you remember from the last blog, we used the right marker and we just coloured it in, did the magic word, which is and then stamped it on. I'm going to show you something a little bit different now. So exactly the same principle. So we use the right marker, we use the brush end again. Oh, a little tip: if you like me and you keep losing them, you can actually put the other cap on there, especially if you're using lots of them and the caps have a tendency to disappear. Now I don't know if you can see this, so I'm going to hold it up. But if I show you it on here, this is the stamp we're using, this one here, and as you can see, there's stalks and leaves and things, but there's also these flowers in the middle. So yesterday we coloured it all in black, and then so we stamped it all in black and then coloured some of the flowers in red. This is a slightly different technique. So we have our stamp, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to colour in the leaves and the stalk, which is this bottom bit of the stamp. So here we go. I think there's another leaf over there. I'm not going to be too precise about it. Again, it's supposed to be kind of, I'm guessing, sort of impressionist or something like that. I'm not very good on my artists, so you know, I make a mess. That's basically what it comes to. And then maybe these stalks at the top might want to be a kind of greeny colour as well. So hopefully you can see that. It's probably not showing up hugely well on here because it's a clear stamp, it's a photopolymer stamp, but as you can see, the top bits and leaves at the bottom I have coloured in green. Let me just pop the lid back on that. Now I'm going to get the real red right marker, and again I'm going to use the brush end, check it out, and I'm going to colour in the flowery bits. And again, I'm using the side of the brush just to get a bit more. Try not to go over where I've done green, because otherwise then you end up with a bit of a yucky colour at the edges. but again, it's just to give an impression. So what that is hopefully all coloured in. So you can see now that I've got two colours on the stamp. Hopefully you can see that. It's going to zoom maybe, but we've got this kind of green and red stamp colour. So let me put the lid back on. So again, we have to remember the magic word, and the magic word when doing this is so you ready? And then exactly the same, I'm going to pop it straight down in the corner. Remember, no rocking, no squidging, no kind of moving it about. And then hopefully when we lift it up, you can see, I'm just going to hold this up and hope it's a bit more impressionist, so it's not quite as clear. Oh, sorry, she says dropping it, as we got with the black. But you can see it's a very different kind of look, isn't it? And I really like it. It's just something, it's almost more watercolory or something like that. But that's literally by putting two colours on the stamp, stamping it on, and those two colours have filled it in for me. So that's my first bit. But the brilliant bit about doing this technique is you can see here that I've got the stamp. There's two different fonts, so two different styles of writing, and I'm actually going to do the same thing on the sentiment on the font. So I thought, just to make it match, that the sort of square writing I would do in the green, and again I'm just going to colour it in with my green white marker so it's ready to go. Just think to yourself for a minute. I'll try not to, otherwise it might rain tomorrow. There we go. So I'm making sure that's all nice and neatly coloured in. The only problem with using clear stamps is you can't see them very well on here, but I promise you I am just colouring in the green bit. So all of these, making sure they've got plenty of green on them. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see that, whether it will zoom in on it or not. No, it's not going to play today. It's just, I think my camera's having a moment. It's obviously not been fed enough coffee today. So now I'm going to get the red, and I'm going to do exactly the same, but more on the sort of swirly writing. And this works really well if you've got sort of block writing where there's a background and then the text is sort of cut out, almost out of the block. It's a really great technique for doing that. Okay, so make sure they're all nicely coloured. There we go, just the word at the bottom. There we go, just make sure there's plenty of red on there. Haven't missed any bits. There we go, right. Pop my lid back on. And again, we're going to use that magic word. And I'm actually going to put it slightly lower down this time, but again, try and get it vaguely level. Give it a little push. You do find with the photopolymers, you just have to hold them down just that little moment longer. But there you go. As you can see, that's again, it's taken the two colours. Now, I didn't do it very well, as you can see, because I've missed some of the red off, but again, it's a handmade card. It's not a perfect card. So that's what I keep telling myself. And then we've got this lovely kind of white ribbon, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take it, I'm just going to tie it around the top because I can. There we go. Now, little hint for tying ribbons is to use something called a glue dot. And a glue dot, you can just get, you know, a small child to pop their finger there and hold it, but you can get these little glue dots, and they're really great. They come in a roll, and I don't know if you can see that, but there's one on the end of my finger. It's not going to play, is it, today? There you go. If I hold it down a bit, and it's a tiny little clear bit, and if you just pop it down where you want your knot to go, and then press down on it, look, you can see it's holding the ribbon in place, so I don't have to wiggle about with it, which is really great. So I'm just going to tie what I call the shoelace, commonly known as a bow. There we go. Come on. Don't you love it when bows don't go right? There we go. And I'm just going to make him a bit smaller by putting my finger on and pulling him back so that we've got a nice tight bow. Or I'm not. Sometimes bows just don't want to play, and today is one of them. And it's always when you're doing a video. When you're on your own, they go right first time, I promise you. I'm making this look very professional, honest. I really am. There we go. Right, I'm going to pull him tight before I do anything. Right, so here's a nice tight bow, and then I'm just going to pull that and make the actual bow a little bit long. There we go. So we've got a nice bow, and I'm actually just going to trim off the ends of my bow so that he's looking nice and neat. So I don't want him to come down. Right, so there we have my little card with my bow. And the good news is the stamping went reasonably well, so I'm actually quite happy to stick that on the front of my card. And now there's several different things you can use to stick it with. You can use sort of double-sided tape or little dimensionals, and these are little double-sided sticky things that you can use to hang it up. I'm actually going to use glue, and the reason I'm going to use this glue is it gives you a bit of wiggle room. And you don't need an awful lot of Tombow. This is the glue that I use. Just pop a little bit round the edges, dollop in the middle. And that's all you need. You don't need a huge amount of it, and you'll see why, because otherwise it'll splodge out the side. Now the reason that I like using Tombow to glue stuff is that when I put it down, you can see there I haven't put it very straight. So because I'm using Tombow, I can squidge it across a bit. There we go. And there we have my two-tone coloured card using just a stamp set, a little bit of ribbon, and my two right markers. The world's best card making secret. I hope you like my cards. If you'd like to get in contact, find out a bit more about it, or maybe have a go with the right markers, then let me know. I do have a few, and I'm always happy to show people a little bit more. My contact details are on the website, and I hope to hear from you soon. Hope you've enjoyed watching. Thank you. Bye.